Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sunday Special. This is going to be episode 42, and I want you to sit back and relax as we talk JRPGs with friend of the podcast and host of the Steam Machine podcast, the very talented young man, Dalton. Welcome back, sir. It's been a while.
Hey, what's up, man? Talented. Well, thank you.
And you are, sir. That is, you have many talents. I am quite envious of your guitar riffs and all the that perfect podcast voice of yours. It's very fun to keep up with that. I've been on your podcast a couple times, but I feel like we've neglected you, buddy. It's been a while since we've talked.
It has been, but it's okay, man. You had to fit in everybody else. It can't always be me. You know.
Exactly.
I do want to tell you, good sir, that the episode that you and I did of Tales of Berseria for the Steam Machine podcast has crept up to being one listen or two listens away from being the most listened to episode.
That's awesome. Well, it's a great game, so that helps. But
yeah,
I will take that. That's fantastic.
It made me want to play Zestiria.
I don't know if that should be a reason to play Zestiria. There's no good reason for that.
Well, you played that on PS4?
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. I'm hoping it'll run. I don't know. I'm hoping it'll be better on PC, but it could be wrong. Like maybe the gameplay wasn't the issue. Maybe it was the story. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to have any. I mean, the gameplay stinks too, but the story was the only half decent part about it, and it even lost interest after a while.
Ah, that's a bummer. Well, I'll get to it eventually. I'm sure it'll come up for the show.
Oh yeah, you'll have to. I mean, that's the nature of the beast that you created, sir. You're gonna have to play it eventually.
Yeah. We actually we recently switched up our our scheduling type thing where like we were doing a fan picked show every time. Mm-hmm. And it started getting to the point where it was like, man, we really want to play something that we want to play. So now we do like each host gets a pick during the month, and then we'll finish the month off with the fan pick game. And we still do the short games in between the longer game episodes. So all of that's still fan picked.
Okay.
So I'm still leaving all of that in their hands, but it's just like every now and then we need to be able to be like, okay, we want to play this, so we're going to play this.
That makes sense. I mean, after a while, that would really, like you said, that'd get old. You got to play games that you want to play. Otherwise, it's kind of defeats the purpose of gaming.
Yeah, you don't want it to become work.
No, that's the last thing. That's the last thing that you want. So, you were telling me a little bit ago you're going to have some people might have heard the JRPG that's coming up on your podcast soon. So you want to go ahead and throw that out there for people to be looking forward to?
Oh yeah, man! It's some game that stars a character named Sephiroth. Old Sephiroth himself.
That was fantastic, dude.
That's what I think. Every time I see Sephiroth, my brain just goes Sephiroth. Yeah, we're gonna dive into the original Final Fantasy VII.
Not this remake game that nobody's heard of. The original, right?
Oh no, yeah, not that fancy dancy old remake. Nah, we're gonna do the old game, pixels, square, cloud, and all.
I was going
voxel hair.
I was going to ask, does it look a little better PC? I'm sure there's some mods that can make it look, borderline PS2, not quite so blocky.
Oh, there is a mod pack. Let me look it up really quick. I don't remember the name of it. It's Seventh Heaven for.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and dude, it makes it look real good and it's just like in the original PS1 game. When you went into battle, Cloud wasn't blocky anymore, right? It was more
not
like
as he was. I mean, the sprite was much better, in my opinion. Not blocky overworld style. No,
I believe that they reworked that, and then they take that and put it on his overworld one too.
That'd be interesting for sure.
So it looks a little different and it looks better, but I don't know if I'll use that for the show or not. I might, but I might suggest it to my show partners who neither of them are looking forward to playing Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're not fans of it. Like, they've played it before, and yeah. Oh. I look forward to it because I had friends growing up that really, really, really liked it, and obviously, like you and like other guys that I've met, like really like it. Willie thinks it's overrated, but I'm hoping that maybe going through and playing it again, and all three of us talking about it and stuff, will kind of make it a better experience.
I think it is the case of if you played it at the time, there's nothing overrated about it. If you're looking at it now as this like pantheon of greatness, I don't know if it holds up to that standard, but
Yeah.
anyone that played it at the time, it completely changed video games. There's no way you can argue against that.
Oh no, yeah, absolutely. Like you can't argue what it did when it first came out, and people were like, "Whoa."
Yeah.
You know, I believe that both of them prefer 9 and 8.
As do I, but it's still very a special game.
Oh no, yeah, and like I said, dude, I look forward to it. I'm gonna put a ton of time into it because that's what I do in Final Fantasy games. I try to get all the cool little stuff. I don't know if I'll get Knights of the Nine because I know that takes ages.
Yeah, I never got Knights of the Round because you got to have
the round. Yeah,
you got to have the gold chocobo, and there was a lot of chocobo making to get to that point, and I wasn't down for that 20 years ago.
Knights of the Nine's an Oblivion expansion.
Oh, okay, that's a very different thing.
Yeah, very different, but similar name. Yeah, Knights of the Round. I don't know if I'll grab that throughout the playlist, but I do want to like try to check out the little secret areas and stuff that I have vague memory of. Like little, isn't there like a hidden village where you can catch chocobos and stuff, or is that part of the story? It's been so long, I don't remember.
I'm gonna guess that's probably a little part of it. It's been a while since I played the full original game as well, so I'm sure there's so many secrets to that game. It's not even funny. So
yeah, well, I look forward to diving in and finding it. I'll tell you something else that I'm looking forward to, and I believe you had a chat about this recently, so we won't go too much into it. But I pre-ordered the Chrono Cross remaster.
Oh, fancy you!
Because I was like, that was a game I always wanted to play and never did.
Okay.
So I was like, well, I'll pre-order it and then I'll pick it for the show, and then I have to play it.
Even better. I mean, that's two birds with one stone, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Now you played Trigger, right?
Yeah, we did that for the show.
That's what I thought. Okay.
I can't remember if I beat Trigger or not. I think I might have gotten real close.
Okay.
So I should probably go back and kill the last boss.
Yeah, you should definitely not leave that one hanging. But
but I'm gonna go into Cross, like I'm gonna separate it from Trigger. You know what I mean? Because I don't have that. When like I didn't play Trigger when it came out, so when Chrono Cross came out, I didn't have any expectations, or I wouldn't have had any expectations. So now I have played Trigger, but I'm going to go into Cross just like, okay, so this is a sequel-esque game instead of like a direct sequel. Whereas I know some people were hoping it would be a direct sequel, and then it wasn't, and then they lost their minds.
Oh, absolutely, and rightfully so. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
It's not the first time that happened. That you had all these elements, and then you bring a sequel out, and it's still a very, very good game. I love Cross, but in terms of following up Trigger, it left a lot to be desired.
Yeah, and mostly, bro, because you know that I'm a music fanatic, I'll say. I'm looking forward to hearing this like soundtrack that I've always heard so much talk about. It's
so good. Like it takes you to that world, and it doesn't let go. Triggers is great as well, but this one's they took advantage of PS1 and all it could do.
Yeah, and I've heard bits and pieces over the years of different songs, but like I can't wait to see how exactly what you're saying, how it brings me into the world by the music.
It's so good, and I will pre-order it as soon as I can. As of right now, it's still not on the PSN store.
That's so weird.
It's so weird. And I was talking with a buddy on YouTube, so it's obviously on Steam. It's obviously on the eShop. But with digital titles, like this one's digital only, right? So apparently Sony has a bad history of this. They'll throw it up like a week or two before, which makes no sense. I don't understand.
Oh, that's kind of strange. Maybe they're trying to like cash in on the people who are like, man, put it up, put it up, put it up. Come on, I want to get it. It's almost out. And then they put it up and then everybody rushes to buy it and they get that surge of cash. But
I guess
I don't see why they would need that.
I don't
They're Sony.
either. I mean, the only thing I would think, like, if it was like a financial year or quarter type of deal, but that doesn't make a whole lot of sense with its timing either. I don't know. They're being dumb. Put it up there so I can shut up and take my money, right?
Yeah, shut up and say, Fry put it best. Absolutely.
There's a lot of people, because I wouldn't mind playing on the Switch, but I think I prefer it on PS4 just because I don't do portable anyway, so I'd rather get it on there. But $20, I can't wait to get back into that one as well.
Oh, dude, yeah. When the price came out, I was expecting like $39.99, $29.99, but when they were like, that's $20, I was like, oh, score.
I don't know what I would have been happy to pay for it necessarily, but I was fully prepared at a $40 price range just because they could.
Yeah.
So at $20 all day, yeah, no problem.
So I'm going to bring this up just because. So I know
it sounds like I'm in trouble. All right.
No. This is more a suggestion,
okay,
if you will.
Sure.
So you've been playing through Yakuza Like a Dragon, right?
I have, yes. I don't know how far I'm into it. Maybe 20 hours, something like that.
Okay, you're way further than I've gotten in it, but I've dabbled in it. Because again, like if it's not a game I'm playing for the show, then like I don't want to sink a ton of time into it. That way, when it comes up for the show, it's fresh to me. You know?
Yeah.
But I did try it out and do something. I love like Yakuza 0 and stuff, so the humor is right up my alley. You know that.
Yes, I do now.
Yeah, now that you've played some. My suggestion would be, I know that there's going to be a lot about that game that you can't talk about on your show.
Practically none. So yeah.
Yeah. So I know after Final Fantasy VII, some point I'll probably give the boys a break from a long JRPG, but that's going to be probably my next RPG choice.
Nice.
So whenever I pull that, I would like to have you come on and guest, and then we can talk about it unfamily friendly, and not that you say anything bad or anything. James is a sweetheart no matter where he's talking, but I think we'll be able to cover that a little more, and then if people wanted to hear your thoughts on that, they could hear your unfiltered thoughts on that, because there are a lot of things in that game that I would like to know your opinion on, but I know I can't ask you here.
Gotcha. Now there's so much. I mean, there's a lot you can talk about, but to get into the game properly and explain what kind of game it is, I can't even begin to talk about it now.
Yeah. But I do want to ask you, how do you feel about the battle system?
I love it.
I think of course, it's really cool.
It's turn-based, but it's not like brainless turn-based. You really got to think about what you're doing. You can't move per se. You're kind of stationary, but the enemies are always moving. So if you hit at the wrong time and you choose an enemy that's standing behind another one, they will block your attack. Like, it's just negated. And so you got to think about things constantly. You do have some area attacks, but there's a turn order, so you can plan your strategy that way. I've never played anything like it before, and I am really, really enjoying it. It's an homage to Dragon Quest, but in a new sense, with a, like I said in the podcast, with a Grand Theft Auto type of feel to it almost.
Yeah.
It's hard to, I didn't play, the other Yakuza games, so I don't know how that element is, but outside of the objectionable things I can't talk about, I really don't have any negatives to say other than you run around a lot. It'd be nice if there's taxis, but they cost money. So it'd be nice if there was more of a fast travel. I didn't have to run so much.
I could give you that for sure. But that's pretty much that way in all the Yakuza games is
okay.
You take taxis to get around. But the humor, I mean, all of the Yakuza games are wacky. Like they're all wacky. Like you can run businesses and stuff. I don't know if you know how they do it in Like a Dragon.
I
but
just got to that part. Yeah.
You can run business. Have you done any karaoke or anything?
Not yet. There is. I know that's a part of it. I haven't seen a karaoke bar yet, or that's been open. Like you can explore obviously, and you can see locations, but they're not like open to you yet because they haven't come up in the story. But
Okay.
there's so much to do. It is very varied on how many things you can do, side quests and different activities, and
Man, and it might be the last time that you can visit a Sega arcade because apparently they're shutting all those down. But so you can still go to them in Yakuza Like a Dragon, though.
You can't. I think it's Virtua Fighter 2 is in there, Fantasy Zone, and I just got to one that had Outrun. So I'm going to check it out next time I go and play. That's really cool.
I feel like I went into one of them, and it had Virtua Fighter 2, and then one of the things was Virtua Fighter 5.
Really? Okay.
But I could be wrong because I think Virtua Fighter 5 is real new, so I could be wrong. But
yeah,
I remember going in there though, and I played through one of the fighting games. I was like, I'm playing a game within a game. How does this work?
it was so cool. Yeah, I played Fantasy Zone, and I was like, man, I haven't played this in a long time, and I still stink at it. It's
Isn't it amazing that Like a Dragon started as a April Fool's joke?
I can see it. I mean,
Like
that's
it really
what it kind of feels like at times. It's like, is this a real game?
They released a trailer on April Fool's for Yakuza turn-based RPG, and everyone went, "Oh, actually, that looks really cool."
Can we have that, please?
Yeah, and apparently the studio like had the game pretty much made, and they went in and changed the fighting style and stuff to make it actually happen. I don't know. I just thought it was incredible. I'm like, hey, the power of the internet, man.
Absolutely, and to the point where it did so well that there's going to be more. So that is, I'm really excited. It's going to take me a while. Like, I think this is going to be a long game.
Yeah, from everything that I've heard, you're probably going to put some Persona level numbers into it, but I think it'll be worth it.
See, I didn't know what to expect, but that was not it. Yeah. I kind of honestly, I thought it would maybe be a shorter title, but no, I'm going to be playing this one for a long time.
Well, I hope you continue to enjoy it, man.
Me too. I've every night I find something to smile at, so that's reason enough.
Well, I know it had me laughing within the first 2 minutes of it. So, just starting out, the first scene's hilarious. So,
oh yes,
it's good stuff, man. I recommend it.
It's this crazy. The story is actually very serious, but all the stuff on the side is zany. Yeah. Completely weird. All the optional stuff.
Wacky world of Yakuza.
Yeah, and so it's a weird combination of going from deadpan serious to, oh man, this is the weirdest thing I've ever seen in the video game.
I've been dabbling in some Edge of Eternity a little bit.
We had checked in with you a while ago about that. Of course, now it's out for consoles as well as PC. Are you still digging it like you did previously?
Yes. Unfortunately, I haven't seen much more than the last time I talked to you because now that it's out of early access and everything, I reinstalled it and I opened it up and I loaded my save and I got greeted with a message that said, "Hey, this save is from an earlier early access version. If you continue to play, some things might be broken. We highly recommend that you start over."
Oh, start over?
Yeah.
Yikes.
So I was like, okay. So I started over, and it runs a lot smoother now than it did.
That's good.
I'm still iffy about the character animations. They just look weird to me, but it might be Uncanny Valley, or it might just be they have odd proportions.
No, that's definitely one of the shortcomings, I think. Even the final build, it's a little different, to say the least.
Yeah, it's almost like their head is about 0.5 too big or something. I don't know. But the gameplay is really fun though. Like honestly, I really enjoy the it's almost grid based, but not really. It's like you're in these octagons, but you have to move if an enemy is going to do a move that's going to hit the square you're in. You might be able to move out of the way.
Right.
It's cool. There's almost like a tactic thing to it. You don't want to get surrounded. You do want to surround your enemy. It almost reminds me of XCOM in a way.
Okay.
for anybody that's played those games. But I'm really quite enjoying it. It can be difficult, but if you grind, it's a JRPG, so grinding is a thing. You know what I mean? You just go out there and do it, and if you meet something that you can't beat, I promise you, if you go grind, you can beat it eventually.
That's JRPGs in a nutshell.
Yeah.
If you are in a place that you are dying, or you get to a boss and he wipes the floor with you, that means you need to put some time in there.
I do. One of the reasons I brought it up is that it just got a new update, at least on PC. I don't know about consoles. I should have checked, but I didn't. They got update 1.2, which added Japanese voice acting because this game's made in France, I believe.
Yes. Yeah.
So now it does have a Japanese voiceover.
That's really good. Yeah, I feel like that should have been day one, but
yeah,
they probably prioritized English, honestly.
Yeah, because English is probably the most wide used language.
Yeah.
Other than, I believe, Chinese, but
yeah. But for video games, yeah, it would be English.
Yeah. It's a small studio though, so I kind of give them a little bit of leeway because it's not a AAA game. I consider this more like a AA maybe.
Yeah, and that's been my thing from the get go is like you can't expect AAA from a small studio. That's just not going to happen.
No, yeah, and that's No Man's Sky. It's really cool now, but that's because now it is what they promised at the beginning. But they had to cash in on the hype. You had investors, yada yada yada, capitalism, money, all of that stuff. But
that's just a new way of doing it too. There's if you're not going to have the capital needed to make a AAA game day one, it's just not going to happen unless you're with these handful of companies.
Yeah, but you get some sales in, and then you're able to take that money and then hire that voice actors and then add the update, So I appreciate them for what they're doing. They keep updating it. They haven't just abandoned it, so that's cool with me.
That's all that matters. You just want to see the return on your investment eventually. That comes with it.
But yeah, so I wanted to recommend that game. If you can get past the odd-looking character models, like the story has been really cool so far. It's a pretty game. Like the colors really pop, at least on my monitor.
Okay.
And I assume if this came out for, you said this released on PS5?
Yeah, PS5, PS4, and Xbox Series and Xbox One. So.
Oh man, yeah, I bet it looks great on PS5, dude.
I would hope so. It's definitely one of those deals. Like I've made a conscious effort this year to attack the backlog and not buy anything new, at least for a while. But I kind of feel like this is the type of game that would be perfect around the holidays. I can ask for it as a gift, which would be free, to my pocket, and maybe you can catch it on sale. But it looks incredible. I can't wait to play it. I'm just going to wait to play it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I get that. You catch it on a nice cheap sale.
Yes.
That way, if it's not up to your liking, you didn't drop $50 on it or whatever it costs.
Oh yeah. Oh well, I mean, I got Like a Dragon. I got a physical copy for $25 on PS5.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, so the amount of joy I got from the game is tremendous, and I got it on sale, which makes it feel even better. So that's
right.
I'd rather just wait a little bit, honestly, unless I can't wait, which is very rare. Just feels like it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, dude, I have a lot of games wish listed on Steam, and I tend to wait till they let me know that it's on sale before I get them. So I feel you. It's very rare that I pre-order anything, even though I pre-ordered 2 games recently, but that was an anomaly.
And you're all digital anyway, so it's a little bit different.
Yeah,
in terms of what you're looking for.
I wish there was still a physical market for PC, but there's really not. Like my PC does not even have a disk drive.
Really?
Yeah, I have a disk drive. I just haven't installed it.
Okay. The
because
USB,
there's nowhere for me to install it. Like it has no. I don't know. I thought about plugging it in and then just having the cord stick out the side and setting it on top, but then I'm like, I don't want that to mess up the discs that are. I don't know.
No, I hear you. No, I made sure when I got mine that it had one because there is some occasions where I need to read a disc for work. But other than installing a program, which you can get those all digital pretty much now, that started to go away. And like we've alluded to, you're probably just ahead of the curve. Next generation definitely could be digital only.
Yeah, And I do want to say too that, I mean, this is obviously not physical at all, and really it's not even digital ownership, but the Xbox Game Pass has been adding a decent selection of RPGs lately. So like
they really have. I've been trying to cover it when I see something good. Not Final Fantasy 13-3, which they just put on there this week. That doesn't count as one.
I can't comment on that. I haven't played the 13 games.
Don't.
I have to for the show. I own all 3 of them, I'm pretty sure.
Just say no.
Just say no.
It's completely off topic, but I saw some guy on Twitter. He's like, I just got my brand new gaming laptop set up. First game is Final Fantasy 13. I was like, no! Why? Why would you choose to do that to yourself?
Hey, at least it'll look good, I guess.
That's been its only compliment. It looks great.
I had gotten the original Final Fantasy 13 from Game Pass not Game Pass, GameFly.
Okay.
Back in the day when that was a thing. I don't know if it still is or not, but
I think it is.
Wow, that's amazing. That's still around. It outlasted Netflix doing physicals. Good job for them.
Oh yeah, gosh.
But yeah, I played a few hours of it, but it didn't really get on with me. I think the disc was scratched and it kept freezing in one area, so I just was like, meh. And
it was doing you a favor.
But I never even got to the part where it opened up.
50 hours in? Yeah, that's great.
I know that's what everybody I hear, like Eric from Factory Sealed's like, I've played that game 3 times, and every time I get to the part where it finally opens up, I'm like, I'm done with this game.
Yeah. No, I mean, I tried. I played it to the very end and hated every minute of it.
Oh man. Well, hopefully I won't hate it too much.
I hope not. And you're different, so it may be something that you care for. So
yeah, we'll see. Oh man, so I got to tell you, on my PS3, I have custom firmware on my PS3 to run. It just helps run older games and stuff.
Okay.
And I was trying out a version of Fantasy Star, the original Fantasy Star, talking about old JRPG.
Oh wow.
Which actually, over here on my shelf that no one can see that I'm pointing at right now, I actually have the original Fantasy Star for Sega Master System.
Wow.
In its case. That's the most expensive game I own.
That is really cool.
I went through and price checked all of my games one day, and that was by far the one that was at the top was Fantasy Star. And it's by no means a wallet breaker or anything. It's not worth that much. But anyway, I saw that there was a version for PS2 that was released in Japan only. But
Fantasy Star? Okay.
Yeah, of Fantasy Star. But it was translated by fans, so there's a fan patch for it. So I figured I'd check it out. It's not what I was expecting at all. So it's I thought it was the Sega Ages, where it's the original game.
Yeah, that's what I would have guessed.
With the map on the side. Mm-hmm. No, this one it's like a remake of the original. And the graphics look different. The music has been made into actual music. The developers seem to have taken advantage of it being on disc, because they added a bunch of dialogue scenes and cutscenes they're not animated cutscenes, but they're really nice drawn stills of the pixelated versions of the originals. It's really updated, and I was like, oh man, I wonder if they made it easier. No.
No. That's the only thing that didn't change.
Oh my goodness, dude. I went through the whole intro, which granted is not that long because it's a Master System game, but and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go kill some stuff, level up a couple times, then I'll figure out where I'm gonna go. And I walked out and I encountered the first enemy, and I hit it for 2 damage, and it hit me for 30 damage and killed me.
That was it. Game over.
Yeah, game over. Had to restart the whole game. So I went through the beginning again, saved it, then worked from there.
Holy cow. Old school JRPG toughness.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, dude. I love it. I have this weird like I don't know if it would be weird, but like Phantasy Star was the first JRPG I ever played.
That's cool.
So I have a very big nostalgia for it of being like, I really need to beat this one day because it kicked my butt so much as a kid. I never got
and finally do it. Yeah.
Anywhere on the Master System. Like I would roam around and run from battles just to roam around and try to see stuff, but I never got anywhere in the story. So I'm going to do it this time.
That's
whether
awesome.
I play this version or the Master System version.
I did the same thing with the original Dragon Warrior when they released it on mobile and the updated version.
Oh yeah,
I got it ended up coming to the Switch as well, and that's where I played it at. But yeah, it was kind of like I could never do this as a kid, so let's try this as an adult. And I got all the way to the end, and I think I couldn't beat the final boss. And I was like, I don't feel like leveling up to get to this level or something to that effect. That's one of those things I need to go and do. But yeah, it's always cool to go back and do those ones that you definitely couldn't do as a kid, but you got your pride now as an adult, and you have to go and finally beat that game.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I feel like I need to go back and beat Shadow of the Colossus again, since that one Colossus that's underground took me like 2 years to figure out how to beat.
That was a great game. I enjoyed
So
that game
good.
so much.
So good. It's one of those games that when you beat it, though, it's so like, oh man, that was an experience.
They kind of feel like, what just happened? Wait, no.
Exactly.
I never played the remaster. I need to do that sometime because I'm sure
Oh,
it looks phenomenal.
It looks really good. I hope that eventually gets a PS5 update too, because like those things, I wish it would come out on PC. I mean,
it may now.
Hopefully one day. Like I think it would look so good with like some NVIDIA Hairworks going on the creatures and stuff.
Yeah, individual hairs to kind of hold on to. Yeah.
Yes. See, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. I feel like PS5 could do a pretty good job of it too.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It almost had to be remade. Yeah.
It's like I'm looking forward to the remaster, and this isn't a JRPG, but the remaster of The Witcher 3 that's supposed to be coming out for next gen consoles is also being released on PC. And
nice.
Because CD Projekt Red are the way they are, if you already own The Witcher 3, you get the update for free.
That's what I'm waiting on too. I've got it.
Yep.
I never played it, but I want to wait till I can do the big bad new version of it.
If I can give you any advice for that game, it would be this. If you go into your first battle and you get your butt handed to you, kick it down to easy. It's way better.
I may do that from the get-go, period. Like,
yeah.
I got no shame in playing on easy mode.
Me neither, man. It's like I'm playing through Control right now for the show, and there's a mode there's like a bunch of accessibility stuff for people who aren't very good.
Right.
Just like, aim assist and things like that. I went in there and I clicked on invulnerability, so it's like I still take damage, but I won't die.
There you go.
So I'm like, all right, now I'm going to play this like a movie.
Why not? I mean, we're past the point of playing for recognition and pride or whatever that's supposed to get you. Like, I want to play for the experience and for fun.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm in it for like what I'm trying to get out of it. I don't particularly care what anybody else thinks.
Yeah, I'm not 12-year-old and going to school next day to just tell everybody that I beat Battletoads. Like, I don't that doesn't care. I don't care. All right. I couldn't do it then. I can't do it now. So that's fine.
I was about to say, you beat Battletoads? That's impressive.
Yeah, no, you can't get past the speeder level. Are you crazy?
Oh man. So one other game I've been I just started dabbling in it last night. Dragon Quest V, Hand of the Heavenly Bride.
Oh, what a great game. That's I'll let you speak and then I'll speak. Go ahead.
So I'm torn. I have two versions of it on the PlayStation. I have the Super Nintendo version.
Okay.
Which is the original. And then I have a enhanced remake that was only released in Japan that also got a fan translation, which was released on PS2.
Oh, so not the 3DS version.
No, it's not the DS version.
Really?
This PS2 version though is like everyone's like chibi Almost
no.
it looks or not.
Oh, no.
Chibi's not the word. They don't look chibi, but they're like the size. Like they look. Everybody looks short.
Okay.
Like I don't know how to describe it. Almost like Final Fantasy VII PS1, like how everyone was kind of like stocky.
Yeah.
Short. That's kind of how they look, but with PS2 graphics instead.
Okay. So good, bad.
So far, it's been fun.
Okay.
You move around a lot quicker than I remember. But I don't know if they were just trying to make you move quickly, like because in the Super Nintendo, obviously there was probably quote unquote less ground to cover.
Yeah.
Than in a 3D game.
Absolutely.
So they're probably just making up for that. But so far, I mean, it's Dragon Quest. Like I walked out and fought some slimes, and it was that first person view.
Okay. Well, that's good then, as long as they didn't change that.
No. Yeah, it's that first person view in battle.
Okay.
And I do want to touch on real quick, going back to Phantasy Star, in that remake, it does keep the first person dungeon crawling as well.
Good. Okay.
So, yeah. But yeah, so far in Dragon Quest, like I'm not very far. Like me and my father just walked that path over to that village, and everybody's like, "Oh my goodness, Pappas is back!"
Yes.
So like that's the part I saved there.
Okay.
I was real. I'm not gonna lie to you. Last night it was like 4:00 in the morning, and I was playing that, and I looked at my phone, and I was like, "Oh, it's Thursday. There's something going on Thursday. Oh crap! I'm supposed to record with James.
yeah.
I need to go to bed." So I turned it. I saved and turned it off, and went to bed.
I am proud of you for going to bed by 4 a.m., sir. Good job.
Yeah, I'm a vampire for anybody that doesn't know.
That is so awesome. Yeah, you not even got to the emotional investment part of that game. It is so good. It is one of my favorite Dragon Quest games. Just there's nothing like it. Very few games try to do what that game did.
Yeah, and go ahead.
I was going to say, like, it's funny that you said that because I've been on this, like, I like to listen to soundtracks, like when I'm working. I put that on, YouTube soundtrack list, whatever. And I've been really gravitated towards 5 here. The past week, I've just been, like, obsessed with it. It's been really weird. But I didn't want to go back and play 5 because I just did. But I did, I've played 8 several times, but I've not played it the 3DS version with the extra characters. And there's a few other additions they did to it. So I've just started that back up for it's probably like my 4th, maybe 5th playthrough. It's by far the game I played the most. And just love it. Just love every minute.
I actually have 8 on the 3DS, and I've played some of it. Unfortunately for me, like sometimes seeing the 3DS screen is kind of a pain.
Yeah,
like,
it's tough, yeah.
So I have thought about, and this is a bunch of PC technical mumbo jumbo, but I have thought about hooking my 3DS up and dumping the file and then emulating it through Citra, because it would technically be legal because it's my file that I'm doing it with, but just so I could see it better on the computer screen.
That makes sense.
But I'm not that technical, and I'd have to look up how to do that. And I'm also kind of lazy sometimes. So I don't know if I'll actually do that or if I'll just
That's a
play
bad combination of things.
But
hey, I'd go for it. You should definitely play that game.
It's a good version though. Like
I really like it. In my mind's eye, I feel like the PS2 version looked better. For some reason, like it's not. I mean, it's 3DS, so you can't ask too much of that little system. It's in part I'm playing it because I can't play like a dragon in front of my kid, or
absolutely not.
Got to be fast asleep, so I've got to have something I can just kind of game on from time to time, and that fit the bill perfectly.
Oi, Gov, I think it'll suit you fine. Oh yeah, Angus.
Yeah,
I love that guy.
He did the scene where the king of Troyan like sneaks up behind me. He goes, "Cold blimey!" Where'd you sneak up from?
Cold blimey!
Oh man, he's one of the greatest characters ever. Just fantastic.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I think that I've been going through a bunch of different games trying to find me a JRPG to play while laying in bed at night, and I think I'm gonna settle on Dragon Quest V. Although, like, there's been a few others that I've like dabbled in just to check out. Like, I don't know if you've heard of like As Your Dreams.
Oh, yeah, PS1.
It was a PS1 game, yeah.
Yeah. Didn't play it, but I know what you're saying.
I dabbled in it a little bit. Forgot to save apparently because I went to load my save last night and it wasn't there. So I was like, oh, okay. Well, I don't feel like watching the intro again, so I'm gonna wait a while on that. And there's like a few, like a few other ones. Dragon Warrior 7 is one that I have on there, which is, I've heard is fantastic, but it's really long apparently.
Super long. I played the 3DS version of it, and I'll be honest, I got halfway through and kind of it fell off for me. I don't know if it was because that was the one they transitioned to that kind of weird over the top look to it. It just felt different for some reason, and I know people love it, but I couldn't. It's the only one I haven't beat, which is saying something.
Okay, yeah, I started it one day and it didn't grab me like the beginning of 5 has. So, like, I don't know. 5 was like immediately relatable, whereas like when I started 7, it was like, okay.
5 won't let go. No, it keeps on. It throws things at you the whole time. Did you ever, by chance, see the Netflix movie?
No, I did not.
Yeah, so beat 5 and then watch the movie because it's kind of actually based on 5.
Okay.
But yeah, it's high regarded. I loved it.
Okay, cool, man. I'll definitely look into that because I like me some anime and animated movies and stuff. So I'll check that out. I wanted to get your opinion. Like, have you played the Lunar games?
The only one I played was Silver Star Story.
Silver Star Story. Is it any good?
Loved it.
Okay, that's another one that I've eyed forever, and I'm like, I should play that. I've heard people say it's real good, but I haven't.
I mean, I don't know how it holds up. It was PS1. The one of the best parts was the anime cutscenes. Like, they were straight ripped from anime. They were beautiful.
Oh yeah, I always loved that.
Simple kind of turn-based. Think like Final Fantasy IV type of. You see everybody on the screen. There you go, back and forth, left and right.
Okay.
But yeah, really good, cool story. The other ones I can't say yay or nay, but that one for sure.
Okay. And then my only other question for you, and I think we've talked about this before. You've played Star Ocean: The Second Story, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was my first one.
That was your first one? Okay.
Yes.
That's another one that I'm going to dive into eventually because I remember playing that game. I don't remember if my buddy had it or if it was. No, I'm sorry. It was when I used to get PlayStation Magazine. Mm-hmm. And they did a whole spread on Till the End of Time, which I believe was the PS2 game.
Yes.
And I read that, and I just became infatuated with the idea of Star Ocean. So
it's a great idea.
I just love those games, like for no other reason than I have this weird nostalgia about this magazine and reading about that game. So I would like to go back and play all of them. Whereas like the first one that I dabbled in was the PS4 game.
4.
What was it? Integrity and Faithlessness.
Oh, the last one. I guess that was 5 then.
Yeah, that was the last one. That was the first one that I had like really put some time into. And then I went back to the fan translated version of the SNES version of the original game.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Because I mean, there was no re-releases at the time that I knew of. But then the PSP remakes came out, and those are cool. I really enjoy those a lot.
That's one I need to go back and pick up one and play through it, and hopefully one day they will remake 2. I don't see why they haven't already.
Yeah, and one's super accessible now because I know you can get it on Switch.
Yeah, Switch or PS4, and half the time it goes on sale.
Oh, is it on PS4 too? Nice.
Yeah.
That's one that I wish they would add to Steam.
Yeah, They didn't?
No. See, you console gamers still have some stuff over us.
There's like 1 or 2 things, okay? And you have P4, so it negates everything that you said.
Fair. I will give you that. One other game that I snagged because you mentioned it to me. I had to check it out, You talked it up as being like one of the best games you had ever played. It had like such a good soundtrack and all of that, man. And that game is Time and Eternity.
Oh, yeah. I talked that one up, right? Yeah, that was a good one. You had me set up for a second there. Did you actually, just to see how bad it was?
Yep. Yeah, I haven't played it yet, but I did snag it. I'm like, yeah, I'll check this out, and I'll see what it's all about, because I was like, I want to see if it made you say the things that you said to me about it. I'm like, yeah, I want to check it out. Not that you said anything awful, but
it was one of those games, like, I really liked the way that it looked and like the idea of it, and I thought the graphics were pretty good. And then you play it, and like I told you, it's just broken. Like, it's unplayable. I've never played anything like that before that actually made it past beta testing. It's
man.
crazy.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I also snagged Eternal Sonata, so that might balance out.
Excellent. Now we're talking.
Yeah. And I haven't loaded that one up yet, but I do have it sitting by my PS3, and it's about music, so I assume I'm going to really like it.
I mean, it's classical music, not
I totally respect classical music, though.
Okay, I recommend it to everybody. It's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, understandably, but it was so different. Just everything based off of music. What a novel idea.
Yeah, I thought it was a really cool concept, so I look forward to checking that out. Maybe I'll bug you to come back on if I get a decent time into it and we can talk about it.
Absolutely. Anytime you put something on the show and you want to have me on there, I am open for discussion.
For sure. I got something I want to ask you too.
Okay.
Have you seen the scuttlebutt about the Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster?
I've not seen anything other than positive, but I've not gone searching for it. I know they'd made a couple changes that I'm sure would get people butthurt.
The only butthurt that I have seen has been about the text.
It looks bad. I mean, but they've all looked bad.
Yeah, I was talking to a buddy of mine in our Discord. I said, I don't mind the text, because to me it's easier to read than the Super Nintendo text.
It is,
but I do admit that it looks a little squished or something.
It doesn't look appropriate for the game, if that makes sense either. But it's very much easier to read. There's no doubt that. I just don't think it was. You've got 1,000 fonts. That would not be the one I would have chosen.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this one with wingdings. Good luck, people.
It might look better. I don't know. I don't expect Times New Roman for everything, but it could have stood something a little bit more appropriate, or just the boxes and everything. But that's been the complaint with all of them. None of them have looked great, and I don't understand that. But
yeah, I don't know. I have the Final Fantasy VI release for Steam that was already up, which I think is the mobile version.
I'd say
they ported
it
to
is.
The computer.
The first mobile version, which I think is they took off when this one came out, or is going to.
Yeah, at the request of the publisher. Yeah. Final Fantasy VI old version is no longer available for sale on Steam.
There you go.
I do want to point out, though, somebody in our Discord said that they had taken down the 3D versions of 3 and 4. They haven't, but you have to search for 3D remake. So you have to put in like Final Fantasy 3 3D remake, and they'll still come up.
I see. Which that was basically the DS version, which I really liked. Final Fantasy 3 on DS. I thought they did a great job.
Well, let me tell you, I played some of 4 on PC, and it's good, but because of the limitations of the DS, the game runs at like 16, 20 frames a second, and it is noticeable on PC that it is just slow.
So you can get away with it on your handheld, but you're going to notice it on the screen and check it on PC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's still enjoyable. You know what I mean? It's just you're going to notice that it's kind of slow going.
That really stinks.
But yeah, to me, the 6 release on PC that everyone seems to always complain about, like, to me, it doesn't look bad. I mean, the sprites look a little washed out's not the word, but it's almost like they're not, that they don't have their lines drawn clear enough, like where their hair ends and skin begins and stuff. They're not clearly defined. But as far as it looking pretty, I mean, I thought it looks really pretty. But apparently people didn't like it, which prompted this new remake.
And that's probably well deserved. Is like, but did you play the original? Because it was very much up to your imagination how these things even looked. They were kind of blobby.
Yeah, I have played the original, and yeah, I agree. Those old Super Nintendo graphics, it was no Breath of Fire 4, which is, I guess, no, that was PS1. Never mind.
Yeah, I mean, it pushed the Super Nintendo to everything it could handle, but it was still pixels. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually, when we were talking about Star Ocean earlier, I think Star Ocean was the biggest game to come out for the Super Nintendo. I think it was like 6.4 megs or something.
Wow.
I know,
so
right? Wow.
So like the size of like a small JPEG now.
Yeah. Yeah. That and the original Tales of Fantasia was also a big game on the Super Nintendo.
That makes sense.
Which also has a fan translation out there.
Oh, okay.
If anybody ever wanted to go back and see where that series started. And what was I going to bring up to you too? Oh, have you ever played any of the Rune Factory games?
Of course not. No, that sounds bad. That's the wife's territory. She's the Rune Factory expert in our household.
Gotcha. I have fallen down that rabbit hole.
Oh no.
Rune Factory 4 Special came out for Steam.
Yes.
And I have put about 8 hours into it or so. So I'm not a ton into it. But, sir, I am all about leveling skills. And my goodness, have I found the game for that.
A lot of skills to level up, you say.
Oh, dude. I've gotten skill ups for running around. Like my running and walking skill go up. There's skills for farming. There's skills for sleeping. If you go to bed at a reasonable hour, you'll get sleeping experience.
Ooh.
There's cooking, there's fishing, there's monster
Everything.
Battles. It's got so much.
Breathing skills. Everything's got a skill.
Yeah, man. It's been really fun, and it's super it's chill. It's
Okay.
very campy's not the word I'm looking for. Charming.
Okay.
It has a good charm to it. But it's also like it's not a very serious game either. At least so far, what I've seen.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to
serious.
get too. You're not going to be saving the world from disaster. I don't think.
Nah, I think you're just trying to bring tourists to your little town or whatever. But I bring it up because there is an achievement. Let me look it up really quick. I have it pulled up here. There's an achievement on Steam. Made it to level 1,000.
Oh, 1,000.
Finally, you hit the 1,000 mark. This road has no end. I've seen people say that you can get to like level 50,000 if you put enough time into this game.
That's like Disgaea numbers.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, wow. So
It just never ends.
That's a time sink that I've also like when I do feel like sitting at the PC at night. I've played some Rune Factory and it's been a good time.
I would not have guessed that from you, but
I don't know. I really like farming games for some reason, dude. This Stardew Valley, Harvest Moon, like those games have always tickled my fancy.
Okay.
Just for like when I'm ready to play something that I can have on, say, the JRPG report while I'm doing it. I don't really have to focus on what I can listen and not really focus. Or if I'm watching the JRPG report on YouTube, which everybody can find at youtube.com/the JRPG report. Right?
What a plug. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And then I'll have it on there. And it's just it's a cool, like, mindless little game. But then there's also times where it's like, it has enough depth that if I want to go do something where I need to focus, like it also has stuff like that. So it's been a good time.
That's awesome, man. I mean, everybody needs a game like that. Sometimes you need just the little mindless stuff that's just fun. That's okay.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
I'm trying to think of other things. Oh, I believe last time I was on here with you was before Monster Rancher DX came out, right?
I think it's been a while, so I would say so. Yeah.
I I don't know if this came out for consoles. If it did, like, I super recommend it. If you play the original Monster Rancher 1 and 2.
Right.
It's a big nostalgia bomb. It's fun to play, and then how they did the summoning monsters thing, I think, is really cool. Because obviously back in the day, you would pop your PlayStation open, put in a music CD or a movie,
right,
and let it spin, and it would read the data and generate a monster just randomly based on data.
That's such a cool mechanic.
Super cool. Now they have something set up. I don't know how they did it, but there's like a music database. So if you want to generate it from a CD or whatever, it'll bring up this menu and say you type in Tom Petty, Even the Losers or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it'll bring up that song, and you click that song, and it'll either generate a monster or it'll tell you that you are not high enough level to handle the monster it's going to generate for you.
That's really cool.
So I spent, I've got 5.6 hours in it so far. Probably 2 of those hours are me just searching songs. What is this going to give me?
Low enough level to download it, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, all right. Because I have a notepad document on my computer of songs that gave me stuff I can't handle yet, so I can go back and see what they are later.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was wondering how that would work and stuff, so that makes sense. And I would say anybody that played it back in the day has been playing it since then because they loved it.
Yeah, dude, it's been a blast. I have not played 1 yet. I've been all about 2 because 2 was the one I played as a kid.
Right.
But I would like to go back and see where it all started eventually.
I don't think there was a huge difference. They came out fairly close to each other, just maybe added monsters and whatnot.
Yeah, from what I read online is 2 is to 1 what 4 was to 3, which is basically 1 and 3 are really good, but 2 and 4 just took those and improved them.
Just better versions of them.
Basically, yeah. Gameplay wise, they're pretty much similar, but you got more monsters, maybe runs better, that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
But it's still hard. It's not an easy game. You got to keep your monster happy. You got to train them up. You got to go take them and fight them, and then you got to hope they don't expire. And
expire? Die? From not feeding them and stuff?
Well, no, of course I feed them.
Oh, okay, Lord,
okay. You got to feed them.
Okay, I didn't know if they could, if you don't take care of them, if they just...
Oh, no, yeah. If you don't take care of them, they will die.
That's awesome.
And, if they get really beat up and stuff, and they get injured, then you have to, nurse them. Also, they'll just get old, and one day you'll wake up, and they'll be dead because they got old.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and it's you develop a relationship with this monster, and then you wake up, you load the game up one day, you play a couple more rounds, and then all of a sudden your monster's dead of old age. You're just like, oh no!
No, it's like a pet.
Yeah. My Tamagotchi!
I put so many hours in. No.
I was watching a YouTube video the other day, and the guy was ending the little clip he was doing, and he says, now let me check on my Tamagotchi that I haven't loaded up since 1990. Oh my God!
They're all dead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I bet it was just a skeleton laying there.
That was one thing I never got into back in the day, luckily, I guess.
Nah, I didn't get into Tamagotchi either, man. I was all about Pokemon.
Yeah.
And Digimon.
There you go. I was about none of the above. I was busy playing Dragon Quest. I ain't got time for that.
I will say, just based on knowing, we've known each other a few years now. I really think that you would enjoy Digimon over Pokemon.
Okay.
At least the games, because they tend to... I hate to go back to they're darker, but they're not really... They're more dark than Pokemon games. They have a more serious tone to them, but they're also jovial.
That's good.
Not that you would ever go out of your way to play one, but I do think that you would enjoy a Digimon game more than you would enjoy a Pokemon game.
That is duly noted. I will.
Yeah,
I'll take it into consideration.
If you ever see the PS4, I think it was Cyber Sleuth. If you ever see that for $5, dudes, I think you would enjoy it.
Okay.
for that price, you know.
I could do $5 or something. I've spent more on worse, so that'll be all right.
Me too, buddy. Me too.
Oh man. Well, dude, you got anything else on your plate? I don't really.
I have
been a fun chat.
One more thing I have to ask you.
Okay.
And it's technically it came from Japan, so I have to know. Do you have any interest in Elden Ring?
No.
No? Okay.
I probably should because everybody else on the planet does, but I don't know. I guess it's just too Souls-like for me to really want to get into. I don't know.
Well, I've been dabbling in it. I won't say I've been putting a lot of time into it, but I have dabbled in it. Probably a couple hours. It reminds me, like, I know a lot of people are like comparing it to these open world games and stuff. Dude, if I could give you a game that it reminds me of, it's a very hard Dragon's Dogma.
Really?
That's the vibe it gives me, because it's like, you know, a Dragon's Dogma, you come upon and like say the big troll that you have to figure out how to beat it.
Yes.
It's the same kind of concept. You know, you come across this big enemy, like say right in the beginning of Elden Ring, there's a big dude on a horse that's he's golden armor, and you just want to avoid him for a while.
Oh.
But eventually, you know, you want to try to take him on. You just need to kind of figure out how to go about it. And I treat it the same way that I would treat coming up to a new enemy in Dragon's Dogma. It's like, okay, how do I climb this and go with their attack it? Whereas in Elden Ring, it's like, okay, which direction do I need to dodge? And then smack it. So
that's interesting. It looks pretty fast. Like,
it can be, for sure.
Just from what I've seen in the clips, you know, it definitely looks like a fast combat system, but still, you know, with RPG elements to it.
Yeah, but it is definitely, it's not as punishing as the older Souls games, but it is hard. Do not let anybody tell you it's not. It's hard.
I can already guesstimate that. I mean, they're not going to cut that difficulty too much. Is there a baby easy mode that I could play on?
That's a good question. I don't remember if there was a difficulty selection or not.
Maybe if you keep dying, it suggests it to you like some of these games do. Like, dude, you need to go ahead and bump it down. It's okay.
That's a possibility. If not, there's always I'm sorry, you'd probably be playing on a console. Never mind. I was gonna say there's always the run a trainer and activate God mode, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, that's not as big of an option on PS5.
Yeah, I know. Willie always says that on the Steam machine that I am the one that's most open to just blatantly cheating in games, and I'm like, yeah, because I don't care. Like when a lot of times when I'm playing RPGs, I treat them like, okay, this is a story I want to experience. Movie main characters don't die, so why should I?
That's true. Very few.
Yeah, some do, but I'll save that to the end. If I want to die during the last boss, that's my own prerogative. But
exactly. Exactly. No, I think Elden Ring looks like one of those ones. Like if I saw it on sale, I might pick it up just because it looks really pretty, and it could be a lot. I mean, I'm not seeing anything bad. Like I know everybody made fun of like every reviewer gave it 10 out of 10. And it's like, well, that's impossible, right?
It scored me a lot of points from my fantasy critic league. A lot.
I've never seen a reaction like that. That just seems like it's too good to be true. But there's got to be some kernel of truth behind it, right?
Oh man. So I know you weren't a big Elder Scrolls guy, but like back in the day when Oblivion first came out, it was the first game that like you're in the sewer and you're kind of making your way through, but when you exited the sewer and all of a sudden there was just this sprawling landscape with a lake in front of you and like a ruin there, and you could go anywhere you wanted, and it was like just this whole open world for you to explore, right? I haven't had that feeling since I first played Oblivion until I played Elden Ring. And
interesting.
Like, and I think they were talking about this on Factory Sealed as well. There's a moment when you first like start the game and you beat the little tutorial area, and then you walk out and you see the landscape in front of you, and you're like, whoa, this game looks really good. But you go around, you do all that stuff, you're still not even into the game. Like you do that stuff, and then you beat boss insert name here, so I don't spoil it for anybody. And then you make your way through this little area, and you come up these, like, I don't remember if it was a staircase or just a hill, and you crease over this hill,
or crest over, I mean. And there is this, I'll send you the screenshot that I'm talking about.
Okay.
And it's just, the rest of the world is there that you're looking at up the top of this thing. And I was just like, holy crap.
Wow.
It is a sight to see. Like, it really is. That game is a beautiful marvel. It's still like, if I didn't have cheats, I probably wouldn't play it. Because it's punishingly hard. But like I said, not as the older games, as far as like they're a little more forgiving with spawn points and things like that.
Okay.
But it's definitely like trial and error. Learning how to.
I think I'd have been all on it if I didn't know that's going to be a hard game. And I just don't usually sign myself up for that voluntarily.
Yeah, I don't blame you. You know, It took me till like last year before my buddy Mike bought me the first Dark Souls remastered because it was on sale. And that was the first time I'd ever played a Dark Souls game, other than one time at my buddy Joey's house. I was watching him and his kid, who's also named Dalton, actually. They were playing Dark Souls 2 or 3, and they were stuck on this boss that they couldn't beat. And I went, "Can I try?" And they went, "Sure." And I beat it.
Oh, no.
And I was just like, wow. And they said, "Well, that was beginner's luck if I've ever seen it, but we'll take it. Thank you."
Oh, absolutely. Doesn't matter how it's done. It got done.
Yeah. Yeah. Total just accident, but I was happy that I could help.
Well, since you said the magic words of Dragon's Dogma, I would at least consider it, because it was not the prettiest game ever, but I love that game.
Yeah, that's another one that I really look forward to coming up on the show, because I've played it, for hours, but I've never really done anything. I always just end up kind of roaming around in that game. So I would like to see the story of it and see if there's actually any story, or if it's just more of a go and explore type thing.
There's definitely I think there's a pretty decent story to it, but the main draw is the exploration, of course.
Okay. Cool, man. Well, I mean, that's about all I have to say, brother.
You said quite a bit, and I appreciate it, dude. That's why I like having guests on here. I don't have to talk as much. I can just, get back and relax for a bit. But that's awesome, man. I appreciate you so much for coming on. Dalton, why don't you make sure you spread the love and tell people where they can find your little podcast?
Oh, yeah, man. I actually have a note thing for that. Let me pull that up real quick, because I am not prepared and didn't have it up already.
Official press release, right?
Yeah, this is just my run through. I'm used to doing this on our show, so it's like, if you want to check out the podcast, you can go to bit.ly/the Steam Machine Podcast. It's just capitalized, like phonetically, how you would capitalize a noun or whatever. Bit.ly/Steam Machine Podcast. That's the link to the website, which also has a link to like our Discord. Which, if people wanted to join that, is bit.ly/TSMP Discord. But Steam Machine Podcast, we play PC games each week. Once a month, we have a poll, 2 different polls on the Discord going up that fans can vote on games. And once a month, we do the fan-voted game. And if it's a longer game, then we're going to dedicate more time to it. It's just the way it is. But the longer games, we do bi-weekly. And then the weeks in between, we do shorter games. And that's also voted on by the fans. Other than that, man, I'm not going to go into all the other plugs, because I don't want to plug all my stuff on here and just take over. But I do appreciate it if anybody would come and check us out. Fair warning, we're not quite as family friendly as this show. Willie and Nadar. I'm the foul mouthed one, but every once in a while they'll throw in some stuff too.
I joke around that the only time, the hour that you don't curse is the hour that we spend together on the podcast here. But that's you were very well behaved, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, I do my best, man. I try.
Just think as if you're around like a kid, you got to turn it off every once in a while. That's what you get on here.
Yep, exactly. And I'm also like, I try not to curse around my grandparents and stuff. So I just put myself into that mindset where I don't want to offend anybody with dirty language.
There you go. I mean, that's where I learned it from, was my grandparents. So I don't know. It depends on your grandparents, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I should say that my grandma is a sailor, but not around my grandpa.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, my granddad was a soldier, and he spoke like it. So that's very.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, brother.
Absolutely, dude. I appreciate you coming on. We'll have you back on here in a little while, and we'll have some more fun talks. So that's going to do it for episode 42 of our Sunday special. Hope you've enjoyed us. Just talking. We just get together, nerds talk about JRPGs. It's a fun time. But Dalton, if you don't care, please throw it out for us, buddy.
All right. Well, then I think we're going to wrap it up here. So if you will, everyone, you wonderful, wonderful people, get out there and level up.